let me leave you with this. Because the signs are everywhere. They're everywhere. Everywhere. And we dismiss them. Let me give you one of my favorite poems. It's from Rudyard Kipling. I have been looking to buy this book where it's in. I can buy everything Rudyard Kipling ever did. I can't buy this one. Can't find it. Can't find it. There's a reason I can't find it. He knew. It is probably the most important thing, the most important poem ever written. Because it's a warning from the past to us. Rudyard Kipling went through World War I. If you know anything about the Fabian Society, you know that the Fabian Society, the same kind of Marxist communists that are running around now. Except they, no, we're not. No, we're something completely different. Right. It's the Fabian Society. It's George Bernard Shaw. George Bernard Shaw was the first person who said, hey, maybe we should gas people that aren't useful. George Bernard Shaw, Fabian socialist. So, Rudyard Kipling, he's watching all this. And if you read what the Fabian socialists and the people on the left here were saying at the time, right before the buildup of World War I, they were saying, you know, this is going to be great, because we can reset all of Europe. All those people will die and get out of the way, and we can rebuild Europe closer to our heart's desire. Evil stuff. Rudyard Kipling lost his son in World War I. Rudyard Kipling actually spent his dying years going to the grave sites of those who died in World War I. Basically, mea culpa, forgive us, forgive us, forgive us. He wrote a poem called The Gods of the Copybook Headings. And he wrote it for our generation. He wrote it because he knew it would happen again. The copybooks, turn of the century, those were the things in school that you would write, and it would say, water will wet us. And you would write, water will wet us. Copy it down. And at the top of each page, water will wet us. Fire will burn. All things that everybody knew to be fact, common sense. Many of them were religious in nature. Well, when the Fabian socialists got in, they had to change those. If you want to change a society, you have to unplug from common sense. Does any of this sound familiar? You have to unplug and you have to start saying, oh, yeah, whatever. Shh, don't pay attention to that. 10 Commandments. I don't care if you think they were from Moses or from Steve down the street. They're all pretty good safety tips. So he wrote The Gods of the Copybook Headings. Listen to the words of wisdom. As I pass through my incarnations in every age and race, I make my proper prostrations to the gods of the marketplace. Peering through reverent fingers, I watch them flourish and fall. And the gods of the copybook headings, I notice, outlast them all. We were living in trees when they met us. They showed us each in turn that water would certainly wet us and fire would certainly burn. But we found them lacking in uplift, vision, and breadth of mind. So we left them to teach the gorillas as we followed the march of mankind. We moved as the Spirit listed, but they never altered their pace, being neither cloud nor wind-born like the gods of the marketplace. But they always caught up with our progress, and presently word would come that a tribe had been wiped off its ice field or the lights had gone out in Rome. With the hopes that our world is built on that they were utterly out of touch. They denied that the moon was stilted. They denied she was even Dutch. They denied that wishes were horses. They denied that pigs had wings. So we worship the gods of the market, who promised us all of the these beautiful things. When the Cambrian measures were forming, they promised us perpetual peace. They swore if we just gave them our weapons, the wars of the tribes would cease. But when we disarmed, they sold us and delivered us bound to our foe. The gods of the copybook heading said, "Stick to the devil you know." On the first feminine sandstones, we were promised the fuller life, which started out by loving our neighbor and ended up with us loving our neighbor's wife. Till our women had no more children, and the men lost their reason, their faith. And the gods of the copybook heading said, "The wages of sin is death." In the Carboniferous epoch, we were promised abundance for all by robbing selected Peter to pay for collective Paul. But though we had plenty of money, there was nothing our money could buy. And the gods of the copybook heading said, "If you do not work, you shall die." Then the gods of the market tumbled, and their smooth-tongued wizards withdrew, and the hearts of the meanest were humbled, and began to believe it was true, that all is not gold that glitters, and 2 and 2 do make 4. And the gods of the copybook headings limped up to explain it once more. As it will be in the future, it was at the birth of man. There are only 4 things that are certain since social progress began: that the dog returns to his vomit, and the sow returns to her mire, and the burnt fool's bandaged finger goes wobbling back to the fire. And after this is accomplished, and the brave new world begins, when all men are paid for existing, and no man must pay for his sins, as surely as water will wet us, as surely as fire will burn, the gods of the copybook headings, with terror and slaughter, return. Rudyard Kipling.